Hello, everyone. My name is Marj. I'm joined with my co-host, Kentrina Jenkins, and this is We Got Your Six. This episode, we've asked Mike Rude from the Rude Awakening Tour to join us and update us on where he's been. He was in Washington, and we're just looking forward to a little update. And Mike, welcome back to We Got Your Six. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, it was easier actually than I thought it was going to be, but maybe because I did some things to try to make things easier for myself. But yeah, I went down to Washington D.C. for the sole purpose of going there for my interpreter, Niaz, who was my interpreter in Afghanistan in 05, 06. Yeah, so this actually all started back in May. I had realized that the Boomer's Legacy bike ride was going to be happening in like a week and a half. Mm-hmm. And I was going to be on the island then. So I said, I want to bring Niaz over because Boomer's Legacy bought him a vehicle last year so that he could be able to try to earn some money driving for Uber and stuff. So because he's lost both his legs, he's got to deal with that, right? So he can't stand for long periods of time, right? In fact, he actually had an interview to be a professor at the university in Kabul. Wow. At one time, but that was one of his problems. He wasn't going to be able to stand. So yeah, I booked a flight to go to fly from Sacramento to Victoria. I booked us a hotel at the Hotel Grand Pacific, and then found out from Niaz that I fill out the ETA, and the ETA is the Enhanced Travel Authority. So that started the ball rolling, and then we realized he had to do an interview. The dates were all kind of mixed up and messed up because they sent him a letter, but the date was old, right? It had already passed either way. Oh. So he got a new one, and his appointment was January 6th, 2020 in Washington, D.C.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's why you went down then.
Yeah, and back in June, it was a bit of a crushing thing to me that I wasn't able to bring him. That it seemed so simple because he was in California. You book a flight, you come, right? But due to the security risks, which I understand, they got to do their due diligence, and so we, back then it seemed like forever.
Right.
And then it's like, holy cow, it's already passed, right? Hopefully we'll get him here for June of next year for the Boomer's Legacy bike ride. And that'll be in Victoria. So, and Boomer is the name of the medic that saved Niaz's life, that spent 3 hours working on him to save his life.
Right. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Boomer, later in the tour, he lost his life. And so there's a great deal of emotion for both of them, right? For Niaz and for the Kellen Boom family, right? But so hopefully we can bring him, and I know there's going to be all kinds of people wanting to see him, so that'll be pretty exciting.
Absolutely. How nice would it be to be able to do, an episode of this show where you're both there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We'd love to have Niaz come on with you if you ever have the opportunity to tell his story, for sure.
Yeah, so we'll try to get him on. He was trying to load Zoom up, but then he was having problems, so he couldn't get it on his phone or something. So that's something for us to work on, and then you guys can do an interview with him and talk about his battle. And I mean, Niaz and I in the hotel room the one day, that's all we did. After the interview, we came back to the room about noon, and we sat and we talked for about 6 or 7 hours until he left back to his sister's. And in some ways, it was like a history lesson, right? Hearing about what all has been happening since I've left there.
Wow, pretty emotional stuff.
Yeah,
Can you explain for people who don't understand, like, why you had to have an interpreter? What were you up to that Niaz had to be your interpreter in Afghanistan?
well, just when you're going out and you're either trying to find out what do the people need to improve their life, or oh, there's a problem with the well. What's the problem with the well, right? Things to be able to interact with the elders of a community, or to interact with the police, to have meetings with the police, to have meetings with other with the Afghan army, with the Afghan police.
So he was pretty imperative over there to good communication.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
So
yeah, it'd be nice to hear Nia's story for sure.
Yeah, and you know what? He speaks outstanding English. Probably speaks better than I do, right? But and I think there's a lot to be said about him and his family. His father is an outstanding individual as well, and he's somebody I want to try now. It might actually be easier trying to bring his father to Canada than it is Niaz. But so that's another venture that's another rabbit hole I'm going to try to go down and try to see if we can't do something to get his father here. His father was with the Afghan police. He retired as a general with the police.
Wow.
And it's not a safe place for him there either, and he's like 70 or whatever, right? So it's whatever. It's just another thing I'm trying to figure something out.
What could people help you with is there anything, or it's just a matter of
so I might try to go to a church group and see if a church group would be able to sponsor him. I need to, answers to that, or who can sponsor him? Can we bring him? If it's an emergency, i.e. life and death matter, how do you go about that? So, I would really like to see that happen, and I'm sure it would put Niaz at ease, having some of his family and people that are, that risk their lives all the time just by going out sometimes, right?
They did this for Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, so I'm not I'm for immigration, if you would, but for the right ones too, right? So these are people that work with the Canadian forces, that helped us, that did a lot for us, right?
Should be accepted as any veteran.
Regardless of how the mission went or didn't go, or what were the results, we owe it to those people that have helped us soldiers, right? Absolutely. I'm alive today because of good people like himself and his father, right? For telling me, Mike, we should get going. We've been here too long, right?
Right.
Things where they can read the situation more than we can, right?
Right.
So it's not just about interpreting. It can also be, the feeling of the people around you, right? Because you know what everybody's daily activities are like. You know what it's like in your hometown when a stranger's vehicle comes in. Hey, who's the new person in town, or whatever, right? So
you would be quick to pick up on innuendos that were, it's getting dangerous, or people are getting upset, or even just the fact that you guys can communicate with elders in communities is probably the most important people. You know, it's
Yep.
amazing. Yeah. You
Yep.
know, if there's anyone listening to this episode that can give Mike some advice as far as, you know, dealing with this kind of bringing people in, maybe somebody out there has experience, and you can please let us know either through us or drop Mike a line or our email if we got your six. It's incredibly important. I think that, you know, Niaz is as much a Canadian veteran in my mind as any Canadian veteran is, and his father as well.
You know, he was on patrol with us. I mean, he was involved in an ambush, and that's how he lost his legs. He's lost a lot. He's lost a lot because of us and serving for us. So the very least that we should be able to do is to afford him at least some of the same things that I'm able to get, right? Have access to healthcare, right?
Mm-hmm.
All these things that, you know, that at the very least we should give him, right?
And to
So, yeah. And you know what? He could be, and he could serve a purpose here, right? I mean, as an interpreter. I mean, they need him in. I mean, his language is very good. And see the difference a lot of times, say when I went on my first tour, they were teaching us phrases and words and stuff, right? But you know what? That wasn't the the proper dialect or the proper words in that community, say. Um, it which I noticed because I would ask them, actually when I was going to go back on a second tour, I asked them, I said, that's the word for this? I thought it was this. And they're like, oh no, that's Dari or whatever, right? And I'm like, yeah, but that's what they speak in Kandahar. That's the language that they understand. Those are the words they understand, right? So, you know, it's like the dialect in Newfoundland is different than the dialect in Vancouver Island, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Different words, different meanings, stuff like that. It's the same language. It's still English, but there's different words used by that particular region. And that's something how it was there, right? That was like a mix of about 4 or 5 languages, I believe, right? Like Farsi, Dari. I can't remember them all, but I mean, you know, I actually learned a fair bit myself.
Wow. Again, I would just love to talk to Niaz. I mean, I think he deserves his, you know, so to speak, day in the sun or his 10 minutes of whatever. But I mean, I know he's not a glory seeker. I'm just meaning that it would be nice to have some recognition for what he's done. And I think that you're right. We owe people like him our deepest gratitude. And if that means bringing him to Canada and his father and family, you know, they've paid their dues for Canada, and you've said he's lost everything in the process of that, and I think we owe him that much.
Yeah, I agree, and you know, you know, to say it's about getting his story out there, and it's about getting his story out so that we can, you know, at least so that he can come and visit us here in Canada, right? Eventually, I'd like to see him here, but at the very least, I would like to, you know, have access to him, right? Because otherwise it's me flying to see him, and depending on where he is could be difficult for me. So
well, I think Trina and I will definitely be helping him to access us through this platform. I'm sure we can get him set up to do that.
Yeah, so we'll try to get you guys talking, and then anything he needs, you just let me know, and we'll get that sorted out or whatever.
Absolutely.
So, and a quick update: my truck should be fixed. I say should because until
Yeah, right
until
on.
I say, yeah, you can come pick it up. It's not fixed.
No.
So I talked to the guy on Thursday, I believe it was, and he said, yep, the truck is at the Dodge dealership getting a few things done on it. It should be back here tomorrow, which was yesterday, right?
Oh,
So
that's awesome news.
yeah, so and then
You must feel good.
yeah, it's because it was costing me more money to travel by flying, right? So, you know, whichever. My video stopped or?
No.
You're still good. We're just listening.
We're
So
just listening.
okay, so let's say that your truck is fixed in like the next week. What do you like? What do you like? Where do you go from there? Like, are you gonna relax? Like, given like the weather and no, not at all.
The look on his face says no.
Exactly. Like, or are you just gonna go? Like, what are you thinking?
So that I've added a few kind of dates to my own thing. I met up with Richard Brown yesterday and pledged to do the half marathon at the Army Run in Ottawa in September. I'll keep that as a goal, but I'll also kind of set myself a realistic goal because I'm not sure. Like, I had some X-rays done a couple days ago at I'm not sure the medical place, but Arnold Paris goes there, right? And so like I have a pin and stuff in my hip, and I think he said that looks like the pin is coming out a bit, right? And that's probably why I'm having a lot of pain. So I don't know. I'll take care of it later when I
Take care of yourself. We need you in good shape for September. So September, I'm hoping the Rude Awakening tour ends up at the rally as well, right? That's September 19th.
every year.
Every year. And then this run is September 20th. So many of us are staying over and making a plan to be at that as well.
Oh, the Army runs the day after?
The day after this time, yes.
We're going too.
We're going
yesterday that we're going to be at Army Run too. So.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And we'll shove you along with us. How about that or something?
So then they have an Air Force run in May 2-4. Not the May 2-4 weekend because that's not the 24th. It's a different day, I guess, this year. But the actual Air Force run is on the 24th of May, so I might try to do a short distance, right? Mm-hmm. And then the Navy run is in June in Victoria, so I'll go there. So I'll just start where I am now. So I'm in Toronto. I fly back to Edmonton today. I'm then going to Monday. I'm going to go to the base. I want to see the Veterans Affairs. I want to see my case manager who's there and speak to her, perhaps pick up some mugs. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to think if I had somebody else to see there. But anyways, that should be it. And then I'm going to try to get my truck. That'll be on Tuesday, perhaps. And then I'm heading straight for Ontario because on the 18th of January is the Maple Leafs like veterans game or whatever. So veterans get to go on the ice. So Michael Henry gave me tickets to go. So I'm taking my 2IC from Afghanistan, Mark Dennis, with me.
Nice.
That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so then from there, I'm going to go join up with some guys from the bike club I'm with and have a few presentations to do with them, some quilts of valor, right? Thank them for their service. Then on the 31st of January and the 1st of February, I'm going to go play in a hockey tournament in Deer Lake, Newfoundland.
With your hip like that?
Yeah, well, maybe I'll play one game.
Oh my goodness.
Or
I
one
can hear
period.
Marge's tone. It's like with your hip like that.
I just wanted to be walking for the 20th of September when we're all at the rally. The 19th is the rally and the 20th is the Army Run. Mike,
Yeah.
you're such a generous guy, and you're always giving things wherever you go. I've been privy to a few little things myself, Trina as well. And today, before we started, you bought us something too. Can you show everybody what that is? Do you have it with you?
It's in my suitcase.
If you don't, it's okay. We'll show you. But he bought us Yeti microphones, and we're just thrilled.
They're supposed to be the #1 microphone out there for for doing podcasts, for streaming, for things like that. And I believe in what you're doing. I believe in you're spreading the word. You're giving people more food on their plate to see, right? Where, they're only getting a bit of information from me as I'm going through, but then they can sit and watch specific episodes of yours, right? To maybe they want to know more. Dave Bona lives close to me. Where does he go for help? What does he get? What helps him? Stuff like that. And because I believe in you guys. You have the courage to go and speak every time and to put yourself out there every time. And I want to thank you for what you're doing, and I want to make sure people hear what you're doing. And so I said, I'm going to get them a microphone. Because you know what? I walked over to Best Buy to buy myself like a $15 thing to be able to hook my headphones into my phone. And I checked my bank account, and my RSP money had gone into my account. So I said, I'm going to pick up those microphones, and I'm going to get one for the two of you because I believe in you.
You're just incredibly awesome. We're very, very grateful for that. And I know that comes out of your pocket, and you're constantly spending. And I'm very grateful. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah. But it's,
and we believe in you too. So.
Yeah. Thanks. It's just, this is too important. I really feel that we're getting traction, that things are moving. And, I want to do everything I have to try to help get the message out. You know what? If eventually I can't drive anymore, or I don't have the money to keep going, you know what? Those microphones will still be with you two, and you two will still be putting out the messages, right?
Mike, if you can't drive anymore, you could still talk on that microphone too. You can come put your co-host beside me and Trina here.
Yeah, we could do that too, right?
There's always a way.
There's so many more projects. There's, like this YouTube channel is kind of just the start, right? Like it's like,
yep.
Because we're kind of like, let's see, what happens, and there's so much more we can do. Like,
yep.
Like
there's
especially with good microphones. Imagine all three of us with good microphones. Like, we don't have to leave our house. Like,
Yeah, but it's nice because for you two, right? You're seeing the bigger picture, right? Perhaps because if you're following Facebook enough, you're getting an idea of what everybody's kind of doing, and plus you guys are speaking to everybody, so you know that maybe Mike Rood has slowed down now, but holy, John Dow's starting to move around, or somebody else has picked up the torch and is now spreading the word, right? So, the two of you could put us in touch, right? You could help put the puzzle pieces together, right?
I'm glad you said that, because that's exactly what it's all about. That being that one focal point where people can just find all the information in one place, right? And being able to promote what you do and promote what Dave does, and just, you know, but not in a selling the news way. This is just a real conversation between like-minded people with the same problems, and you're not belittled here, you're believed, and you're not judged, and it's a place to reach out and get some answers. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly right. So I mean, well done to the two of you, and I think Zoom is a good program as well, actually, right? Mm-hmm. It's it does a good job, right?
It's a nice platform for sure. Trina was wise in choosing this. We could have as many people on here as we want at one time, but I mean, it's nice to just have these one-on-one conversations with veterans and experts, and we've got lots to tell yet.
Yep. And you know what? Just to say, even about spending money and doing stuff, I can't put a price on my friends' lives, right? For me, this is it. This is my life to get the word out, right? There'll be time for me later to sit in the basement for months. But right now, it's not going to happen.
You've come so far, Mike. You really have, and I don't see you sitting in the basement for months. Not ever again. We wouldn't even let you. But you've grown, and I know that's advocacy, because I know it grew me and it grew Trina, and it's just part of the process, right? Yeah. And just understanding helps everybody. Being in the dark is what takes people's depression and things, and just blows them out of proportion. But knowing that you're not alone, that's the key.
Yeah.
And I think that anyone that's still standing and anyone that's advocating, I think we were all basically, in that dark basement alone, right? Like for various
I would
reasons.
agree, yeah.
And for the three of us, it all had to do with mefloquine, right? My life a year ago, before, finding out about mefloquine, was completely different. Like everything was going, it couldn't have went more downhill if I,
if you tried.
Yeah, exactly. If I lid down and push myself down a hill, it couldn't have got any worse, right?
Yeah.
But that's not how it looked. But you know what I mean? Like I was basically in a basement too. So.
But you know what? Like your show can bring hope. I'm trying to bring hope, right? If you learn about what's really affecting you, and then if you adjust your lifestyle, or you adjust your eating habits, or you adjust your sleeping habits, if you do all that, then you can minimize the effects. Even if we could never get rid of the effects, if you're able to minimize it and live a better life, a more productive life, or a more focused life, right? I think each of us, we need to find that focus, right? And that focus helps you do better, right? And that's what I'm trying to do. Stay focused.
And it shows. It shows. You've taken seriously the eating properly, the taking care of yourself, the not drinking, all those things that you learned from Dave as well, some back, and it's made a difference. I can see it in you since I first met you till now. Yeah. And even your story is immensely different.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a positive thing to end this show on, because you said exactly what we are saying in other episodes is, it was bleak and it didn't seem like hope, but like Trina, finding answers brought her out of the so-called basement, and you as well. And I mean, not knowing what's wrong with you, it makes you, I can't even imagine. If you're just wandering around not knowing why, you're not crazy.
I'm not getting better. I'm not getting better. Right? That's a case that's common with people that are affected more by mefloquine than, say, PTSD, because people, I've heard that a few times, I'm not responding to treatment. I'm not responding to treatment. Well, maybe it's mefloquine, right? Maybe that's where your problem lies. And when you start to try to adjust your lifestyle and change things so you can live better, not, I could go out every single day and do all kinds of stuff, but it would almost kill me probably, right? But if I know my restrictions, my whatever, then I can arrange things, right? I'm not going to drive into Toronto at 6 in the morning, or at 7 in the morning in rush hour traffic, right?
No.
That's a way of adjusting my life, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not working, then why do timings mean anything other than, like say to try to meet with the lawyers? Okay, well then I got to figure out a way to get down there, or pick a time that's not so busy, right? Or stay in a hotel right near the venue that I got to go to, which is what I do all the time. I stayed in Washington D.C. I stayed 15 minutes away from the Canadian embassy because I wouldn't be able to deal with if I was running late, if I'm whatever, it would cause me all kinds of anxiety. So
So
I
you
didn't
realize that and you mitigate for it.
I stayed in the cheapest hotel as close to the embassy as I could, and that was 15 minutes, and it wasn't a bad rate, and it was a really nice hotel. I mean, and the people were fantastic, right? And I'm pretty lucky in that fact too. Just driving around, I'm meeting some really incredible people, right?
I believe that.
So, and to leave on another note, to say, I had dinner the other day with the people from Together We Stand, and with Stephanie and Rick from there, and I met with Corey from Aurora was there, and Shane from Canna Connect, and one I keep forgetting her name, but she was with Med Relief, and now she's with Canna Connect. But all of them sitting there had the passion to help veterans. And that is a ray of sunshine. That's a ray of hope. There's people out there that aren't veterans that want to help veterans, right? Like you two, right? I mean, you were both married to one and everything, but I mean, it's people going beyond what they need to be doing, right?
We have to.
You could live your life, go to work, come home, spend time with your family. But these people have added in helping veterans, trying to do stuff, traveling, right? So with them and you, there is hope for us, right?
There is. There absolutely is. We've come a long way, and we've got a long ways to go, but we're starting to be such a united front that there's people in every corner now that we can reach out to, and it's amazing. Come a long way, and we have a long ways to go, but we're getting there, and it's very positive for sure.
Yep. And my life is made better by knowing you two and a bunch of the other advocates and everybody, right? Philip Brooks, John Dow, Dave Bona, Stephen Beardwood, Jill Greenwood, Brian Greenwood. There's so many people my friends list went from, I think, somewhere around 1,300 to like 2,700 now, right? But and I've met a lot of really, really good people that have become friends and people that I rely on, because I know their heart is in what they're doing, and I'm incredibly lucky to know such incredible people.
We're incredibly lucky to know you. Thank you so much, Mike, for joining us, and thank you for your support and your words of appreciation. They mean a lot. It's been a long road to hoe, and we're still got a long ways to go, but I mean, we're in it together, right? So
Yeah.
that's it for this episode of We Got Your Six. Mike Rood joined us again, and we're just glad to have you back, and we'll look forward to another chat with you. Keep up the good work. Excited to see you in your truck again. You'll have to take a picture and send it in when you get your truck back. And
I will.
please keep in touch. And again, if anyone out there can help us with travel ideas or how to get around bringing someone into the country, maybe you've done it before, maybe you know the process, and if you could reach out to us, we'd appreciate that. Take care of each other, and thank you very much, Mike, Trina, and everyone. Just have a great day, and this is We Got Your Six.